trails. Light trails are really cool, and the best time to take light trails of cars on busy motorways is this time of the year, as far as I'm concerned, because 5:30 is when the traffic gets busy, 5:30 is when the sun sets. Repeat this process in July or August, and you're going to have to be here at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night to wait for the light to drop, and in which case there's not going to be as many cars. So, a lot to be said for standing freezing cold on top of a motorway bridge when it gets dark. That's going to be me tonight. Now, it's going to be a little loud over there, and I'm only going to talk you through the very basics of my setup and how I go about taking light trail shots. But I have made a tutorial on this in the past, and I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this video. So if you want to learn a bit more, or maybe if you're confused ever so slightly with my setup tonight, then you can always refer back to that video, whereby I go right back to the bare basics. But if you've ever fancied taking pictures like this but never got around to doing it, perhaps because you think it might be too difficult for you, you'd be very surprised. It's a very easy process, especially the way I'm about to talk you through it. To get myself into position in a second and get set up, it's way too early, because the time at the moment is only 5:10, and realistically I need to be taking pictures at about 6 o'clock. That's when it's blue hour and then into the dark. So it's entirely up to you whether you like the blue hour or into the dark. But because the camera is obviously picking up the road noise and it's going to be noisy for you guys, I'll put text on the screen when it comes to how I set up the camera. So if it is a bit too noisy, you can always turn it down a bit. But what is interesting is that people keep beeping the horn because they probably think I'm police with a speed camera or something. Either that, or they probably think, look at that sad bloke stood on top of that motorway bridge taking photographs of us. That's more like it, if I'm honest.
Most of your picture taking will be when it's dark, so it definitely pays to arrive nice and early so you could play around with compositions. As an example, I arrived at 5 o'clock and I was still there taking pictures at 9 o'clock. I think it's fair to say though that not everybody is as anal as me, but please bear in mind, if you like this style of photography, you'll definitely be there when it's dark. Wrap up warm, take a flask, and better still, take a friend.
Right, I'll talk you through my composition, but what I'll do is I'll throw you guys in camera so you can see exactly what I can see. Right, that is pretty much the composition I'm going for. Straight down the centre. So we've got a run onto the motorway on that side, a run off on that side, and that is Forton services in the background. So that services in the background is going to add an element of interest. What I will say is though, is that the services are no longer working. Well, the services are, but that UFO thing on top there is no longer working. So what I will do later on, I can guarantee it, when the light starts to drop and all the road starts to light up with brake lights and headlights, etc., this will look rather dead. So I'll add lights to that UFO in the background just to make it look a bit more interesting. Let me briefly talk you through my camera setup, which is going to be really easy. First of all, I set my camera onto taking picture mode. Nice and simple as always. First of all, straight to manual, ISO 100. I'm going to throw that on F11, and I'm going to beep, 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 and I'm going to slow my shutter speed down according to my histogram. Right. Bizarrely so, that's all you need to do, nothing any more than that. Then as the light starts to drop, the histogram will move to the left hand side. So to compensate, we're then going to slow our shutter speed down, slow it down and slow it down. As you can see, it's getting brighter now. So we'll do that as the light starts to drop. That's it. It really is that easy. So let me talk you through that once again. Obviously find your composition first of all, set your camera to manual. Your camera has to be set in manual. Set your ISO to a really low number, as low as number as possible. I'm going to set mine to ISO 100. I'm going to set my aperture to either f8 or f11. Remember, your aperture controls your depth of field. f8 or f11 will render everything from tippy toes to as far as the eye can see in focus. So that's perfect. So that's it. ISO 100, f8 or f11, you choose, it didn't really matter. And then we're going to activate our histogram and then slow our shutter speed down or increase our shutter speed until we're comfortable. Yeah, I'm the police. But then we're going to slow our shutter speed or increase our shutter speed until we're comfortable with where the histogram is at. In other words, we have an appropriate amount of light hitting that sensor. Nothing any more than that. And as it is at the moment, it's around about 1/3 of a second, because obviously there's still lots of light. But now I'm set up, what I'm going to do is just wait for the light to drop. Just wait for the light to drop. As the light starts to drop, we're going to lengthen the time the shutter speed stays open. Nothing any more harrowing than that. When we find our sweet spot in terms of the shutter speed length, i.e. 10 seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds, you can make that decision based on the length of time it takes the vehicles to move through the scene. Once we've done that, if you then want it brighter, then you can have a tickle with your ISO. Turn your ISO up to add more light onto your sensor, or of course you could open your aperture, or a combination of both. And if you make sure that you keep your camera sturdy on a tripod and it doesn't move, then we could take shot after shot after shot and combine the best ones in post-production.
The light quickly dropped and I soon found myself capturing images at 10 and 20 seconds in length, as you can see here. But now it's time to push those boundaries even further.
Right, so I managed to extend my shutter speed to 30 seconds. I'm very happy with that at f8. So I've just decided to close my aperture a bit more to f11 and therefore extend my shutter speed to a minute. And within a minute, I can capture everything. So traffic entering the motorway, leaving the motorway, and of course, busy carriageways as well. And it looks interesting. But there's no right and wrong way of doing this. A longer shutter speed might add a bit more clutter to the image, with traffic moving to the left, moving to the right, indicators going off all over the place. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's about having some fun and experimenting, and then just looking tomorrow in the cold light of day to see what I'm happy with and to see what excites me, I suppose. Pretty cool, really. No right and wrong. There's no right and wrong. So my final settings are something like 4-minute exposure at ISO 100 at f16. That f16 is giving me a lovely starburst, and in the camera the pictures look great, but hey, I won't know until tomorrow whether I actually like the pictures or not. They look great on the back of the camera. But yeah, that's where I am with my settings at the moment. I've just played and played and played around as the light has dropped and dropped and dropped. I just love experimenting. There's no place I'd rather be than somewhere like this, experimenting with my camera, having such a great time. So from Tony and myself, before you look at these pictures, do me a favour, help support the channel, give that like button a bit of a nudge if you don't mind. If you're new here and you want to check out some of my old work, then consider subscribing as well. I hope you like the pictures. I'll catch you next time. From Tony and myself, cheers.